So, I received an email while I was in Austin a couple weeks ago. I haven't responded to it, but I want to respond to it because it was a great email, and I didn't have the answers. And so I am bringing my wife Celeste on, and all the ladies in the house here, if you want to answer in on this question, because I do what I do and I am who I am, but I don't have all the answers and methodologies for all of the people. And so here, I'm gonna just summarize the email because it was a long-winded email that was gracious and wonderful, and also I didn't have the answers. So here we go. So I received an email from a woman on our list who deeply resonates with the spirit of what we do at Magic Media and feels the sincerity, passion, authenticity in the voice that I share from, and appreciates where our work comes from and the place of care for people and the planet and all the things, all the good things. But she also feels for herself a disconnection between the philosophy that I teach and how I teach it and how it's executed. Specifically, she's reflecting on parts of my content that encourage things like a 90-day plan or create a business plan, or, how do you structure your life and schedule your success, and all of these things that I have had to learn for myself in order to do all the things that I do in my life, and the get shit done while having fun mindset. And for her, and she suspects for many other women who might be on my list, that kind of structure feels overly masculine and out of sync with how she naturally creates and leads. Understandable. I'm a man. She's a sensitive, intuitive, creative woman, an actor, writer, teacher, and mom who's invested heavily in trainings, I think upwards of $65,000 in trainings and certificates, but still struggles to translate her gifts into a sustainable business. She doesn't resonate with the hustle or bro marketing ethos, nor do I, and is seeking feminine, intuitive, spirituality aligned approach to business that honors her natural flow while still giving her enough structure and support to bring her vision to life. She appreciates the depth and consciousness of what we do here, but she's looking for a model or a way to do her business that's both mystical and methodical, soulful and strategic. So, in summary, how can women like her or people like her, highly sensitive, heart centered creators, build thriving, sustainable businesses in a way that aligns with their feminine power rather than forcing themselves into masculine, hustle based systems that drain them? And so, the most feminine teacher I have in my life is my wife Celeste here. And so I was like, "Hey, babe, can you like come do the Magic Mind and be a part of a conversation today with all of these people?" Because I feel like this is probably a question that a lot of women have, a lot of highly sensitive people, and I just know from working with this particular group over the years and all the hundreds of people that have come through is that there are a lot of people that are like this, and I have seen them struggled. And so um, I'm gonna just shut up for a moment and see what arises inside of you. I have my own thoughts, but they're coming from my silly masculine brain. So
Hmm.
uh, this can be a conversational thing that we will then share to the internet when we get to the other side of this. So yeah,
Okay, thank you, Brad. Bring your wife to work day.
yeah, bring your wife to work
Here we
day.
go. No pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what arises within me is yeah, an embodied awareness of how deeply we are all being called right now into greater alignment with the earth and all people, and serving from a unified place where we're not overly masculine, overly feminine, hustling, struggling, unsupported, waffling, I don't know, and coming together inside of ourselves. So I hear this person because I resonate with the place inside of me that is a very feminine being that has struggled for years to kind of thrive in business and make my own sort of business things come to life, because I'm deeply feminine and there's a lot of need for the honoring of the cycles that happen within nature and within the nature of woman and deeply sensitive people who are really attuned to the sensitivities of everything. So, what comes up for me to share is the importance of creating a structure and boundaries, which isn't just like what you're keeping out, it's what you're tucking in, and it's the sacred space you're honoring and protecting within the scope of your business and your plans and your dreams and where you're going. And so, um, I, I, whew, I'm just having a stall here in my brain. The boundary is so vital to allow us space inside to really be switched on and like really fully ourselves. I feel like all of us are being called to glow and brighten up and power up and share our gifts right now in a deeply unified way. And I feel like the boundary work is really important. And that means the masculine structures in business, the strategies, the plans, the time frame, the blocking of the time. I've resisted that for years. Because of the flow, because I am just like I am the water, but the water cannot be as potent and directed unless it has the banks of the rocks and the river to hold that water. And so,
which is the strategy. That's the
so yeah,
structure.
I feel like what I heard you read was what she desires is actually, mythical and methodical. That's divine union. That's like that's both and. And so I think all of us are being called into greater levels of powering up everything that exists within us that's already both. And so maybe for individuals like that, it's like really creating a sacred space with your business where you can power up and be more enlivened by your own leadership, of your own masculine leadership if you're a feminine being. And maybe it's creating a little bit more space for flow and listening and attunement and awareness with the subtleties and sensitivities of everything in the world and ecosystem of your business so that all your actions are directed in alignment with where that feminine energy needs to go and is asking to go, right?
And I feel like I just want to chime in on realistic expectations. We had somebody in the Magic Mind not so long ago, in the last year, and she had all these goals and projects, like multiple projects on the go all the time. And I finally asked her in a coaching session because she was frustrated that she wasn't getting the traction she really wanted for her business. I said, "How many hours do you actually have to devote to your business? Like full focused hours per week?" And her answer was 8 hours. And I said, "You're trying to build a thriving business ecosystem and setting up systems that support you to thrive and like creating courses and production and running a blog and a newsletter and trying to do client sessions and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, in 8 hours a week. Your expectations are completely unrealistic. You need to simplify completely what your business model is, and instead of trying to have three or four offerings, you have one core offering, and that's what you're
Need the
devoted to.
boundary work. You're creating space for just the thing you want that water to flow into, that
Because
energy.
yeah, because you can do everything, you just can't do everything all at once. And that was definitely, way back in the day when I was first an entrepreneur, I'd always have 11 projects on the go, and none of them would get done. And it had an epiphany of talking to one of my buddies who was a mentor at the time, and he was just like, "You have way too many things on the go." And that was what happened to me this year with Magic Kids, is like,
Where's the space for that thing you really want?
yeah, yeah, like I'm putting my energy in way too many places, and none of them are doing it in the best way possible. And so for the person who sent this email, is like, how much time do you have? How realistic are your expectations on the return of energy that you're getting back from what you're able to put in? And can you create stronger boundaries around the container of like what really matters to you at this stage of creation?
The season, the cycle.
And for some people, specifically some moms, like, is running your business more important than being present with your kids at this phase of their growth? And if it's being with your kids that's more important than just be with your kids, which is a choice you've made with Soren, is like you stepped away from your professional life for many years, and now you're just coming back to sharing your gifts.
It's taken so many ebbs of me to get even through. I've had soul desires to serve in more ways than just within my family and for my child, but at the same time, it's really real. We are all being called to share right now. So there's no right or wrong way to do that. I think we're all listening to what's right for us, and that's the important part.
And so being our own parents, For myself, sometimes I need to parent myself and just like take a chill pill, go lay on the couch and read a novel and let my brain just like check out of the constant scheme of my life of like building my businesses and pulling all these pieces together and figuring out the gaps in strategic partnerships that I can fill and all the things and just chill out and play with your kid and get out a board game and like do the thing. So for me, like that's me honoring that feminine space. You are starting to design more structure in your life, so you are parenting yourself to like show up and like have a mission to actually get some shit done.
Yeah, I recognized I had too much going on and too loose a boundary, so my energy wasn't being focused where I actually wanted it because it was being used in all these other ways. And so I got myself entirely off of social media this year. I had a huge community platform that I was running locally for like 900 mothers that I was donating my time through every day for the last 9 years that I recognized, wow, I'm having a hard time launching my own business because I'm literally giving my life force away for free, but it was a generative thing, but it just had reached a threshold that I couldn't sustain on my own. So I brought in a team and I brought in a matriarch council so that the matriarch council could guide and guard the energetic space for the women. And then the moderators could go to the matriarchs if they had an issue, that it wasn't all resting on one individual. And so I able to back myself out of that space. And I've been in a power up in the void, just like shutting the door on all social media and all distractions. Now my phone means nothing more to me than like texting friends and a couple calls and photos, and it's great. And that's been part of my parenting is like, whoa, I really needed to pull the line for myself. And this was extracting energy. I was losing time and I was losing focus and allowing myself to be swayed into a cultural overtone that I didn't want to ride that anymore. I wanted to ride my own dragon and power up and be here for what I'm here to share, which is so much more important. And if that's just literally making the best stew on the planet and like tending the altars of our home, like my life depends on it, it's literally been the power up I've needed because it's bringing that focus. I'm like doing the feminine work while you're doing masculine work, and we're also learning so much inside of ourselves to be in divine union within ourselves as two sovereign humans that are just in the glow up. Um, so yeah, parenting yourself.
So, for specifically the person that emailed, if you were speaking directly to her right now, what questions would you want her to ask herself so that she can find her
I would
right
say for
way?
her, I can tell that that attunement is really correct. She's feeling something inside herself that is very aware that she needs to embody her own divine feminine leadership and that she can't participate in a hustle culture of bro marketing, something that has just been coming from the overtone of an overcultural business models that, we're evolving. We're all kind of coming together in a different way. So I listening to your intuition is really spot on. She can sense that you have beautiful energy and the work that you share, and she's interested, but she wants to make sure that she does it in her way. So my invitation would be, well, then pull in the structures and support that you need to do that for yourself. And you're fucking buckle up, sister. Like put your stirrups on and giddy up. Like get on the horse and let's go. It's all you, babe. And like there's more people around that can reflect the divine feminine. And she's obviously probably a really powerful individual that already knows what she's doing and it's already actually inside her. And when we create the right things come in. I had this beautiful dream last night I will reflect on right now because it seems relevant. I've been working with the runes a lot in a Nordic deep dive with my son. And I had this image of this powerful force of energy that would unlock specifically because of the addition of special, symbols and energies all coalescing. But there was something really special about this powering up and this adding the power to, which might be our own devotion to our business, our own right alignment, our own right action, and that things literally unlock and become available that weren't there before. right? So we're entering a new time where if we actually really tend, if we take, take account of what's really, really here in our business and in our life and the energetics, pay attention to that thing that you've been avoiding, in that wound, that thing that's been kind of, pay attention to all the things in the scope of everywhere, and then tend to those things that really need tending and clear the space. Light the candle, sweep the floor, clear your mind, lose the distractions, and go in and just like let yourself be guided from that deep feminine place, and you'll know where you need to be.
Love it. Love it. Um, I'm just gonna add one last thing because that is great. Is like find your village around you. You know, we can't do this ourselves. This is the time to be linking arms. If you know other mompreneurs who are also struggling to get their shit done, then start a group, meet once a week. You know, take shifts where a few moms are working on their businesses while one mom's taking care of the kids and making the food, and then sub out and like do work party days where everybody can gather and do the thing and make the food together so that you got more time.
Yeah.
It-
Like you can take the masculine philosophies and then use them to serve you.
yeah, beautiful answer.
Yeah.
Look forward to sending this to her
And
and
like the
see
divine feminine will be nowhere without the masculine. We love the masculine. We want the masculine. We need the structure. We need the support. We need that protection and that real power, We need that inside ourselves and around ourselves as feminine, masculine beings, all of us.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Curious to hear what everybody else
So
stands out.
James,